Ladies and gentlemen, gungans and droids across our beloved empire, we are hopping into the battle on Geonosis, and I got one question to ask you guys today. What squad we bringing in? And you better believe it, we are bringing in the Bad Batch for today's Geonosis Territory Battle test. And this is actually kind of highly anticipated because when we first got word that the Bad Batch was coming to Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, the first impressions were they're going to be mainly designed to help with Geonosis Territory. I mean, this has been the speculation ever since Bad Batch was first shown last year in 2020. We're like, oh man, the Bad Batch is going to come to Galaxy Heroes and they're going to kick booty when it comes to GOTB. Do they kick booty? They do, but you got to make sure you put the right fifth member in. And what I have for you guys today is two sets of gameplay that I'm going to show you. The first one's going to be with Commander Cody, provided by Damba and Rockstar, and the second batch is going to be me trying out Plo, because so many of you guys wanted to see Plo get some love, and well, I'll let you guys see how that turned out here. And long story short, Bad Batch is going to be a solid Geonosis Territorial team, but you need to make sure you have the right fifth member in that fifth slot, because right now, you know, we don't have a fifth member. Of course, we're hoping for Crosser, or maybe, how does she say her name? Omega. But right now, we don't know if those two are going to have any chance to come into Star Wars Galaxy. So in the meantime, we need to find something to plug into that fifth slot, and there are a lot of logical options that you can throw in her. For example, Shakti is extremely logical, but we're trying to pick characters that might not be used in other areas, and Shakti can be used with, for example, a clone 501st team for that matter. Or you could do things like Barisafi. You could do things like Commander Cody, which got the job done very well. We got a 4-4 spoiler alert for the rest of this gameplay here. 4-4 with Commander Cody. Plo is it was a logical option that a lot of you guys wanted to see. Unfortunately, it did not turn out to do so well. That mass swarm, I think right now, if you're going to use the Bad Batch, whether you paid for them now, you're going to get them 6 months from now, or 12 months from now, you're finally going to use them in Geonosis Territory Battle. A mass swarm attack, assuming there are no other Bad Batch members coming, is going to be critical for this team, as you'll see throughout this game. But we're going to talk about some of the fun interactions with this team. But the second thing is, the attack strategy is very important. I was kind of the guinea pig for my guild when it came to Bad Batch. I was the first one to try them out. I recorded the battle, showed it with my guild, and they made some adjustments to their strategy as well as the lineup. I mean, Plo was never the ideal strategy, but I love you guys too dang much, so I tried it out. But when you changed up the lineup a little bit and the strategy, the battle goes a lot better. As we're going to see now, I think I really want to talk about the two most important things for a successful Geonosis Territory run. Because remember, as I said, when we got word of the Bad Batch, we kind of expected them to be great in Geonosis Territories, but kind of accidentally, they became a top 10 team in Star Wars Galaxy for Grand Arena and Territory Wars, yada, yada, yada. But the strategy for GOTB it might be a bit different than what you might do in Grand Arena. Because, for example, the most important kicker really for the Bad Batch overall is Echo. And with Echo, we like to open up with Never Any Doubt. And you're going to see kind of a little bit of a difference between this run and my run, because in my run, I open up with Never Any Doubt, which is very logical. That's what we do in Grand Arena when you're fighting a bunch of teams, because he's able to dispel all the buffs, apply the daze, the healing immunity, and give tons of extra offense and turn meter to your team. So it's kind of like your Captain Rex to get the team moving. However, once my guild saw my gameplay, they're like, you know what? Maybe we need to open up with one step ahead. And this ability really is going to be the big ability to get your team controlling the opposing Geonosians and the Separatists. Because remember, with one step ahead, yeah, you inflict buff immunity on the target enemy, which is nice. You can do a buff immunity on Magna Guard, for example, but you're inflicting expose on all enemies for 2 turns. But you got to hold on. There's a bit more to it with that expose. And in order to understand why are we trying to open up with one step ahead, instead we have to take a look at Hunter's lead for the Bad Batch, because with Hunter on his lead, a different path. It's kind of a bit hidden below. The Bad Batch has kind of a lot of synergies and abilities that we kind of overlook because these weren't as important when we're doing our Grand Arena testing from a while ago. However, if you look at the very last paragraph here, when damaging an enemy with expose, Bad Batch allies remove 50% turn meter from that enemy. And here we go. Doubled for Droid and Separatist enemies, which excludes raid bosses, Galactic Legends, which can't be evaded or resisted. So when Echo opens up with that huge expose on the opposing side of the field, that's going to really open up your Bad Batch for tons of turn meter removal. So if you are going to be running Bad Batch, it seems like you really want to try to kind of more focus on spamming those exposes out there as much as possible, so you could really start taking advantage of the hunter lead that has that exposed synergy to really control the turn meter on the opposing enemy team. So I think that's kind of the most important thing I want to outline there, because that's kind of the biggest strategy difference between my gameplay and theirs. And I think other people might learn a little bit from this too, because I talked to some other people who had the Bad Batch and they were a bit worried because they were not getting successful runs. It may be because we aren't opening up with the right kit with the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch, they kind of adapt to the situation. The situation is a little bit different in GOTB, whereas when you go to territories grander in it, it's a bit more get out there as fast as possible and do a lot of work, and that's where Echo's turn meter gains and buff dispels come in handy. The other great things I liked about this team a lot, once you get that defense up going, man, it really helps a lot churn through the droid battalions. For example, you're going to see in the gameplay here and there, you get stuck behind a taunting tank, Magna Guard, and you're kind of stuck. You kind of got to wait for Echo or someone to do a buff dispel of some sort. However, when you got defense up, again, going back to the hunter lead, anytime using an ability, whether you're damaging or not, you're applying true damage to everyone. So let's say you're mass swarming with Commander Cody, and this is why that mass swarm is huge. When you're mass swarming Magna Guard, you're doing tons of true damage every time a Bad Batch character is using the ability. Again, watch out for those white numbers. The white numbers is that true damage attached to the hunter lead. When you're doing that mass swarm, Bad Batch allies are assisting, and when they have defense up, they're also doing extra true damage to everyone else. So you're going to be burning through droid battalions like they're nothing. And even, let's say there is no Magna Guard, if you have the opportunity to mass swarm a B2 right away or a B1 right away, and you got defense up, they're like pretty much instantly deleted. You're going to scrap through an entire battalion right away. And that's really why I think Commander Cody or Shakti is going to be the ideal fit slot, because when you're getting those mass swarms in, it's almost an instant kill droid battalion killer once you got that defense up. Rolling on the team, and then you got the multiple attacks and the basics when you're applying debuffs with Hunter and Tech, for example. So it gets really nasty really quickly. So I really liked that. And of course, Tech was helpful. I feel like, especially my gameplay in this one, of course, the big stun with brilliant idea that gets the stun at everyone who are dazed and target lock. It is definitely nice and important, but it really feels like the most important things to understand are those three things that we talked about: the true defense, the true damage because of the defense up, the hunter lead, allowing turn meter removals on Separatist and Droid allies that are exposed, and then of course you got Echoes one step ahead with applying those exposed on everyone else. So that kind of got the job done overall. We're going to show some of the mods. If you want to see how the mods were, the mods are pretty souped up when it came to Rockstar as well as Damba's gameplay that they did. The mods are pretty great. 380 for Echo, whereas in my gameplay, I was rocking a meager 371 speed Echo. I know. Shame on me. But these are the mods that are going to get the job done if you are going to be using Bad Batch. A lot of people had the expectation that Bad Batch was going to be one of those just hit auto and go. It does not seem like this is going to be our first full auto GOTB team with 100% confidence. Because remember, past GOTBs, once you kind of get to a point where the power creep's going crazy and you got some really powerful teams, you can just hit auto and walk away, like Darkside GOTB or the Hoth Territories. Eventually get to the point where your team's just so much more powerful than the event. You can just go and hit auto, walk away. Probably not there yet with the current things. Maybe when they get a fifth member, that could be a different story. But now we're going to start rolling into the footage. Lastly, with my run with Plo, because I love you guys so much, and here we love to give memes the chance to become a dream. And Plo, well, he didn't really do too much here. The hope with Plo that a lot of you guys wanted to see is he gives pretty substantial turn meter gains to the clone troopers as well as Jedi out there. And a lot of people might have Plo geared up a bit more than Commander Cody, because at least he's got a very solid ship for when it comes to the negotiator. But the other great thing about Plo in his kit is that he gives tons of defense up, where hypothetically speaking, it sounds like they would never run out of defense up until, for example, B2 came around and dispelled it. That take charge ability gives defense up for 4 turns. Now, defense up was never an important buff in the game until with the Bad Batch more recently, but 4 turns, that's probably the highest amount of turns for defense up buffs on your team. And of course, that 50% turn meter gain is absolutely huge. So he was kind of like another Captain Rex of some sort. And even when I modded Plo Koon for tons of protection, tons of durability, he simply was not getting the job done. It sounded nice. Turn meter gains, defense up, and his basic also had a buff dispel, so it kind of felt like a budget version of Shock T with the buff dispel and a budget version of Captain Rex. Unfortunately, probably not going to get the job done. So I feel pretty confident that Commander Cody is going to be that ideal fit slot. And Commander Cody as well was pretty solid at the Bad Batch when it came to our Grand Arena Territory War style testing. That Mass Swarm is not just applicable just to GOTB. It was pretty applicable outside of GOTB as well with that Mass Swarm. Because remember, the biggest thing about that Mass Swarm, besides the defense up and all the Bad Batch doing crazy things, is with that ability, you can quickly cycle through the cooldowns over and over and over again on that Mass Swarm attack, because it's pretty simple. That 212th attack you're calling all clone allies to says granted less damage, but doesn't really matter when you're doing all that true damage with Bad Batch lead. But every time an assist is scoring a critical hit, you're reducing his cooldown by 1. So almost, I don't want to say constantly, but there is a chance you can constantly reduce this cooldown over and over again. So Commander Cody's literally just going to be there and Mass Swarming so long as you're landing those critical hits. And with all these Bad Batch characters doing multiple attacks on an assist, you should be able to get through it pretty quickly. But as you see, my run's coming to a close in a moment here. Again, there's a lot of factors that come to a successful Geo Territory run. Even with Galactic Legends, sometimes you just get a bad run, for example. So could it be, I could have maybe got better. Maybe I did the right attack strategy opening up, but also depending on what you get, you might have a harder time getting the Bad Batch to get you a solid 4-4 win. We had a lot of B2 buff dispels causing complications, but overall seems to be a solid team. And again, I think there's a lot of room for improvement for the Bad Batch. If we can get a 5th member, maybe we don't have to worry about stress as much about what that 5th slot is going to be all about. But that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and Droids. And I know I'm probably going to get this question a lot in the comment section. We will be doing some testing with the Bad Batch in the Kiadi Mundi Reek mission. I'm wondering if maybe the Bad Batch is going to really reduce the amount of luck and RNG needed to knock out that mission. So stay tuned for that in the next couple days. Beach man, it's like a Razor Crest in Bad Batch week. We're staying busy with all the new units coming to Star Wars Galaxies. But as always, until we get to that video, thank you all so much for watching from the bottom of my Imperial heart. Like if you did enjoy the video, comment down below on all your beautiful thoughts, and be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And most importantly, you know what, Gary, you're right. It's great to be in the Empire today. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.